Then will the kingdom of heaven be likened to 10 virgins that took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps, and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was made a cry, Behold, the bridegroom comes, go out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose, and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said to the wise, Give us your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Truly I say to you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour when the Son of Man comes. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants, and delivered to them his goods. And to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them another 5 talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained another 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged it in the earth, and hid his Lord's money. And after a long time the Lord of those servants came and reckoned with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought the other 5 talents, saying, Lord, you delivered to me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. His Lord said to him, Well done, you good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord. He also that received 2 talents came and said, Lord, you delivered to me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His Lord said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord. And he that had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew that you are a hard man, reaping where you have not sown, and gathering where you have not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid your talent in the earth. Here, have what is yours. His Lord answered and said, You wicked and slothful servant, you knew that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. You ought therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received my own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it to him that has 10 talents. For to every one that has will be given, and he will have abundance. But from him that has not will be taken away, even that what he has. And cast the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. When the Son of Man will come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then will he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him will be gathered all nations, and he will separate them from one another, as a shepherd divides his sheep from the goats. And he will set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then will the king say to them on his right hand, Come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungered, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then will the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when we saw you hungered, did we not feed you? Or thirsty, did we not give you drink? When we saw you a stranger, did we not take you in? Or naked and clothed you? Or when we saw you sick or in prison, did we not come to you? And the king will answer and say to them, Truly I say to you, inasmuch as you have done to one of the least of my brothers, you have done it to me. Then he will say to them on the left hand, Depart from me, you cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you took me not in. Naked, and you clothed me not. Sick, and in prison, and you visited me not. Then will they also say to him, Lord, when we saw you hungered, or athirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, did we not minister to you? Then he will answer them, saying, Truly I say to you, inasmuch as you did not to one of the least of these, you did not to me. And these will go into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal. And it came to pass, when Jesus had finished all these sayings, he said to his disciples, You know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified. Then assembled together the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people to the palace of the high priest, who is called Cephas, and consulted that they might take Jesus by subtlety and kill him. But they said, Not on the feast day, lest there be an uproar among the people. Now when Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came to him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, To what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said to them, Why do you trouble this woman? For she has wrought a good work upon me. For you have the poor always with you, but me you have not always. For in that she has poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Truly I say to you, wheresoever this gospel will be preached in the whole world, there will also this, that this woman has done, be told for a memorial of her. Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests, and said to them, What will you give me, and I will deliver him to you? And they covenanted with him for 30 pieces of silver. And from that time he sought opportunity to betray him. Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying to him, Where will you that we prepare for you to eat the Passover? And he said, Go into the city to such a man, and say to him, The Master says, My time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples. And the disciples did as Jesus had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover. Now when the even was come, he sat down with the 12. And as they did eat, he said, Truly I say to you, that one of you will betray me. And they were exceeding sorrowful, and began every one of them to say to him, Lord, is it I? And he answered and said, He that dips his hand with me in the dish, the same will betray me. The Son of Man goes as it is written of him. But woe to that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. Then Judas, that betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? He said to him, You have said. And as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it, and broke it, and gave it to the disciples, and said, "Take, eat, this is my body." And he took the cup, and gave thanks, and gave it to them, saying, "Drink all of it. This is my blood of the New Testament, that is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say to you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine, until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom." And when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. Then Jesus said to them, "All you will be offended because of me this night, for it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered abroad. But after I am risen again, I will go before you in Galilee." Peter answered and said to him, "Though all men will be offended because of you, yet I will never be offended." Jesus said to him, "Truly I say to you, that this night, before the cock crow, you will deny me thrice." Peter said to him, "Though I should die with you, yet I will not deny you." Likewise also said all the disciples. Then Jesus came with them to a place called Gethsemane, and said to the disciples, "Sit here, while I go and pray yonder." And he took with him Peter and two of the sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then he said to them, "My soul is exceeding sorrowful, even to death. Tarry here and watch with me." And he went a little farther, and fell on his face and prayed, saying, "O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will." And he came to the disciples, and found them asleep, and said to Peter, "What, could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." He went away again a second time, and prayed, saying, "O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done." And he came and found them asleep again, and their eyes were heavy. And he left them, and went away again, and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then he came to his disciples and said, "Sleep on now, and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that does betray me." And while he yet spoke, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves, from the chief priests and elders of the people. Now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, "Whomsoever I will kiss, that is he. Hold him fast." And forthwith he came to Jesus, and said, "Hail, Master," and kissed him. And Jesus said to him, "Friend, where have you come from?" Then they came and laid hands on Jesus, and took him. And behold, one of them that were with Jesus stretched out his hand, and drew his sword, and struck a servant of the high priest's, and smote off his ear. Then Jesus said to him, "Put up again your sword into his place, for all they that take the sword will perish with the sword. Do you think that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he will presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? But how then will the scriptures be fulfilled, that it must be?" In that same hour Jesus said to the multitudes, "Are you come out against a thief with swords and staves for to take me? I sat daily with you teaching in the temple, and you laid no hold on me. But all this was done, that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled." Then all the disciples forsook him, and fled. And they that had laid hold on Jesus led him away to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. But Peter followed him afar off to the high priest's palace, and went in, and sat with the servants to see the end. Now the chief priests and the elders of the council sought false witness against Jesus, to put him to death, but found none. though many false witnesses came, yet they found none. At the last came 2 false witnesses, and said, This fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God, and to build it in 3 days. And the high priest arose, and said to him, Do you answer nothing? What is it that these witnesses have against you? But Jesus held his peace. And the high priest answered and said to him, I adjure you by the living God, that you will tell us whether you be the Christ, the Son of God. Jesus said to him, You have said. Nevertheless, I say to you, hereafter you will see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power, and coming in the clouds of heaven. Then the high priest rent his clothes, saying, He has spoken blasphemy. What further need do we have of these witnesses? Behold, now you have heard his blasphemy. What do you think? They answered and said, He is guilty of death. Then they did spit in his face, and buffeted him, and others smote him with the palms of their hands, saying, Prophesy to us, Christ, who is he that smote you? Now Peter sat without in the palace, and a damsel came to him, saying, You also were with Jesus of Galilee. But he denied before them all, saying, I know not what you say. And when he was gone out into the porch, another maid saw him, and said to them that were there, This fellow was also with Jesus of Nazareth. And again he denied with an oath, I do not know the man. And after a while came to him they that stood by, and said to Peter, Surely you are one of them, by your speech it bewrays you. Then he began to curse and to swear, saying, I know not the man. And immediately the cock crew. And Peter remembered the word of Jesus, that he said to him, Before the cock crow, you will deny me thrice. And he went out and wept bitterly.